growing up. Creepy. Wicked.
Welcome folks to our second spooky video of the Halloween season. Last week it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch's history. This week we are talking about our favourite creepy girl, Creepy Creecher. She was raised by a family of bugs and now she is trying to fit in as a normal girl at a normal school. Somehow everything seems to bug out. So can she hide her secret and maintain a normal life? Let's find out. The first episode of the show is called The Telltale Poem. The episode starts with students at Middleton Middle School reading poems in front of the class. The first to get up is Budge, who delivers a beautiful poem, a real tearjerker.
Snuggled in her cozy arms, everything felt right.
Then our main character, Creepy Creecher, goes up to read her poem. And her poem was different, to say the least.
Grab it, bite its head off, snap in your powerful jaws.
After reading the poem to her class, Creepy's teacher sends her to the principal's office, who might also be the school psychologist. I don't actually know. She is always psychoanalyzing people. That might be a hobby of hers. She might be a trained professional. We will never know.
2 cockroaches fighting over a hunk of rotting meat. Very interesting.
After doing a series of tests on Creepy, the principal is even more concerned. So she follows her around the school and discovers her on the ceiling and thinks she plans to off herself. Very dark start to the first episode. When in reality, she is just helping her brother, Nat, who gets caught in one of the bug traps. When Creepy finally gets down, the principal demands to speak to her parents and try and get her serious help. Nat flies ahead and warns the family that Creepy's teacher is coming. They get in disguise in this weird contraption and they all have a good talk and manage to convince Creepy's teacher that Creepy is not on the edge of a mental breakdown. Oh, and Creepy's Aunt Rose goes away in the principal's car. I'm not sure what happens here. The teacher doesn't die. We see her later, but I was deeply concerned how this ended. I think this is a great first episode as it introduces us to several key characters. Creepy has millions of family members, but the most common ones are Creepy's mum, the praying mantis, Creepy's dad, the mosquito, as well as her brothers Nat and Paulie. In this episode, we see how Creepy's family have adapted to have a human family member. We see in other episodes, as soon as the door opens, they scatter. They have this whole contraption in case someone needs to meet Creepy's parents. We also see how much Creepy cares for her family as we see her rescue her brother, even though it lands her in a sticky situation. Pun 100% intended there. Whilst the Telltale Poem is the first episode, the origins of Creepy appears in the episode Creepy Crawling. This episode is just a long version of what we see in the opening of every episode. Creepy was left on the doorstep of the mansion that they all live in, which is really concerning to me because throughout the series, it is stated most people in this town think the mansion is abandoned because of how creepy it is. It's lucky that there were 2 highly intelligent bug parents to take care of her, or no one would have found her because no one goes near this house because it's so weird and spooky. For the first 13 years of her life, Creepy had no human interaction and only hung out with her bug family. Over time, Creepy realized she was different from her siblings and would look out the windows at other humans and long for their companionship. So her family prepared her to go outside, teaching her maths and how to read. Eventually, she ends up joining middle school where she meets Chris, Alice and Budge, who are her best friends throughout the series, and the rest is history. Also, she was born with this hair colour. I thought this was something to do with her having a bug family. And you know how some bugs are brightly coloured, but no, she just popped out of the womb with this on her head. We never find any information about
if there was really a girl with bug parents, wouldn't she have her own television show?
Creepy's birth parents, but she seems quite content with the family she has, so I don't feel like they are ever needed in the show. Now I want to talk about some of the most important characters in Growing Up Creepy. Obviously, Creepy Creecher, who is the main character of the show. Despite what some might consider a scary aesthetic, she's the sweetest character, constantly going out of her way to help her family or friends, and when she encounters random bugs that have no relation to her family, she drops everything to help them.
Step aside, girlie. The team's gotta practice.
We're not moving. There's an endangered beetle on this field.
And I want to mention that every time Creepy walks or runs, she makes these little pitter-patter noises, and it is so cute. Even when she's being chased by maple-obsessed zombies, she is still making this little pitter-patter noise, and it is the funniest thing, and I love it. And this little detail is just so appreciated in my opinion. Nothing in the show really scares Creepy. None of the weird things that she encounters or the many ghosts are in this series that I will discuss later, none of them scare her. She has no fear, apart from clowns, which she hates for some reason. Creepy's parents, as mentioned before, Creepy has 2 bug parents, Vinny and Carolina, who are parents to everyone in the house. I'm not sure how that works because Carolina is a carnivorous insect and is seen to be eating bugs throughout the series. I don't know how they decide who is family and who is food, because dozens of different types of insects live in that house, but apparently it just works out. It's not always being the bug parent to a human. There are certain human activities that are hard to do, like the father-child bowling tournament that happened, and Creepie was not even planning on attending since she could not bring her dad. But Budge manages to convince her to come, and when Vinny finds out, he is slightly hurt she did not ask him to go, but they end up bonding as father and daughter by the end of the episode, and I found that sweet. That was not the only time Creepie's parents were trying really hard to fit the role of human parents. In one episode, Carolina tries to bring Creepie's lunch to her after they had a small fight, and she gets caught by this crazy man, who I will talk about later. Anyway, Creepie and her mum grow closer than ever after this, and throughout the series you see the negatives and positives of having bug parents. Also, they never explain how they make money in this series, because Creepie eats human food, she doesn't eat bugs, and the house has electricity. Chrysalis is one of Creepie's best friends. These two could not be more different from one another. Chrysalis is a preppy overachiever who is class president. She is captain of the wiffle ball team. Still don't know what that is. She is a girl so organized she schedules and plans which houses are worth going trick-or-treating in.
To get full use of my color-coded candy map, which highlights all the best candy givers in the neighborhood. I'm already 32.6 seconds behind schedule.
And she makes blueprints for building a sand castle. Chrysalis thinks Creepie is weird and Creepie thinks the same. But them having so many differences brings them closer than it does apart, and they always try and understand each other. For one episode, Creepie goes to Chrysalis's Halloween party, knowing it would be bad, just to make her happy. The only true negative about her is her father is an exterminator, and her family are bugs. She also has a habit of signing Creepie up things like school plays, and she does force her to babysit her cat and baby cousin with no heads up. She just drops them off at her house. Budge Bentley is Creepie's other best friend. Whilst he may not share Creepie's deep love of bugs, he's always interested in her bug knowledge due to his deep love of science. Budge knows Creepie's parents are bugs.
A frog? Never mind.
What are you going to do?
In several episodes, he has helped hide her bug family secret and saves them from danger, like in Little Greenhouse of Horror, where they had these carnivorous plants trying to eat Creepie's brothers. He also helps Creepie look for her family when she comes home and they are all mysteriously missing in the episode Creepy Friday. When Creepie's parents consider moving, Budge helps scare away potential buyers. He's just a really good friend, and even though he's the opposite of Creepie, as in he is easily scared, he always stands by her side. Whilst Creepie has millions of siblings, the main ones are Nat and Paulie. Nat is Creepie's younger sibling and Paulie is Creepie's older sibling. These two have a tendency to get in trouble, like in the episode where Chris, Alice's dad, almost exterminated them because they followed Creepie to the local farm where he was exterminated. They are not the brightest. They almost die in a lot of episodes. Actually, Creepie has to save them every single time. There was one episode Nat got into a growth formula and got to be a student for a day. I have no idea how no one else realized he was just a giant bug. We have Dr. Lance Pierce, who is an entomologist, who I mentioned before tried to kidnap and experiment on Creepie's mum, since she is a rare praying mantis from Madagascar, but Creepie and Budge saved her. He also later appears in the episode The Ice Bug Cometh, when he discovers a giant frozen bug to experiment on, but Creepie releases it and he spends the rest of the episode trying to hunt it down, and at the end of the episode the giant bug carries him off. I hoped that caveman bug ate him, but unfortunately he is still alive. Tarantula Boy was my favourite character other than Creepie. He only appeared in 2 episodes, but he was well appreciated. The first episode was Creepie meets Tarantula Boy, where Creepie and Chrysalis are walking around the town circus playing games when they discover a freak show, and Creepie discovers they have a kid called Tarantula Boy. Her interest is piqued instantly. After the show, Creepie and Chrysalis meet Tarantula Boy, and Chrysalis faints due to being freaked out, but Creepie is ecstatic. They both show keen knowledge about spider fact and decide to go on a date to do all the circus games. Tarantula Boy is good and Creepie is impressed. Their date goes amazingly until Tarantula Boy goes to change out of his outfit, and Creepie discovers he does not have 6 arms and is horrified she has been catfished by the fake arms, and it immediately becomes awkward as it is clear Creepie has completely lost interest in this boy. So eventually Chrysalis and her leave, and Skipper, which is Tarantula Boy's real name, is heartbroken and goes to talk to his mum, who is an actual giant tarantula. After that ending, you would think that would be the last time we see him, but he returns in the episode Return of Tarantula Boy. Skipper has now become a famous movie star, and when everyone finds out Creepie knows him, they freak out, and Creepie still seems salty about being catfished.
Movie theater tonight.
First of all, he's not what he seems. He's just a nice, normal boy named Skipper.
A guy comes to school and gives Creepie an invitation to the premiere, and he and Creepie eventually hang out the whole night. This whole episode, Dr. Pierce, the etymologist, who should have been eaten, is trying to capture Tarantula Boy because he also thinks Skipper is half tarantula. He fails every time. By the end of the episode, Creepie has moved on from the fact he is not actually half tarantula and actually starts to like him as a person. Dr. Pierce finally confronts them, and apparently Skipper can summon his mother with a scream, and Creepie tells him she was also raised by bugs. He decided to introduce Skipper and his mum to her family. I was slightly scared about bringing a giant spider to Creepie's insect house, but it all went well. Actually, better than alright, because apparently Creepie's mum and Skipper's mum know each other already. We did also learn that Carolina was planning on eating Vinny, but decided not to, and I was just in shock. Talking insects are not the only interesting creatures to appear in grown-up Creepie. Ghosts canonically exist in this show. No ifs, buts, or maybe about it. There are a lot of them. Creepie met a ghost moth in the case of the mysterious moth, and they get along great. There is a dead gal that haunts the sports supply closet in the legend of the locker. When Creepie's parents debate selling the house, these two goth ghosts almost buy it. Creepie and her friends put on a play with the help of these ghost termites in the final curtain. The ghost of a dead Scotsman haunts this bagpipe. There's a bunch of ghost pirates that died at Creepie's local beach and turn into hermites sometimes to have fun. As well as ghosts, there are many other odd things in this one town. Firstly, a headless cockroach obsessed with trophies also exists, as well as Bugfoot, a giant bug creature that lives in the woods. Their dolls are also alive in this show. They also had a half girl, half bee, who within her first day had climbed the school social ranks and became the queen bee. They named her Regina, which I assumed was based off Regina George. At the end of every episode, Creepie tells us about interesting facts, and I just wanted to include my favourite.
If a mosquito bites you, don't blame my dad. Only the female mosquito drinks blood to get protein for her eggs.
The whole point of this show is to subvert the norm. She is a girl who dresses in what would be labelled a scary fashion, but she is lovely and sweet and will do anything for her friends. It is also a play against traditional family roles by showing a married couple that truly loves each other and like being around one another, and it in a way reminds me of the Addams Family in some aspects. Creepie and her family are not the only ones subverting expectations from what people expect them to be. There's also Budge, due to his appearance in animation would be labelled as the bully character or the stupid character, but he is neither. He's lovely and intelligent and honestly a treat to have. This show was so fun. It is sad that it only had one season and it had multiple Halloween episodes, which I loved. Don't know how that worked, but it did. Also, this town is insane. There are so many ghosts, so many mythical creatures in this one town. Who cursed this place? I love the aesthetics of the show. I love all the character designs. They're so unique and fun. I love how it's educational. This show is just so good, and I feel like it's a shame that it's been forgotten by most people. So I thought I would just bring attention to it. I need you guys to go watch it. It's so fun. And that will be all. Tell me your favourite creepy memories. Goodbye.